How does a relatively new car manufacturer go about making a name for themselves? Given all the competition there is out there, it goes without saying that the products they offer have to be nothing short of remarkable. And that means offering the latest in technology. It also means that their products have to deliver the goods when it comes to performance and drivability. More importantly, they need to have good build quality. But the thing is, such products would probably cost you an arm and a leg. And it's not easy to appeal to early adopters if your products are deemed too expensive. So manufacturers are usually left with a choice between providing something that's exquisite or affordable. But what if they manage to do both? Well, that's exactly what Geely offers with their entire lineup. And today, we're going to discuss why Geely is the next big thing. To say that Geely is the next big thing is a huge claim. But what exactly do I mean by that? And more importantly, what's my basis? Well, as it stands, Geely has already grown exponentially. Aside from the fact that they've managed to sell 1 million cars per year for the last 5 years, they've also managed to acquire a lot of established brands, a feat that wouldn't be possible if they weren't playing their cards right. But my basis for this claim won't even be hinged on the fact that they own brands like Volvo or Lotus, because the best way to judge a brand is really based on their products, such as this, the Geely Azkarra. Now granted, this is one of their more expensive models, but I assure you that the qualities I'm going to mention today trickles down to their entire lineup. Now styling may be subjective, but you can't argue with the fact that Geely seems to have established their brand's identity early on. All their models are distinctly Geely, and you can't simply attribute that to design cues such as this signature Cosmos grille. When you look at any Geely product, you can tell that their design team didn't pen this as a task. They created it as a work of art. And again, that's evident on all their products, regardless of which model or variant. None of their vehicles look like rip-offs from other brands. But more importantly, they exude a level of class, which I think they've managed to achieve through 3 key areas. 1, attention to detail. They keep the silhouette and body line simple. Nothing looks desperate for attention. However, the intricacies are in the little things, such as the reflectors on the headlights and the covers on the lug nuts of the wheels. And 2, subtle variant distinction. And what I mean by this is that even their entry-level variants look premium and they don't go overboard with badging, even with their top-of-the-line models. In fact, sometimes it's hard to tell the variants apart. And that's a good thing because it means the entire range is well equipped. And 3, good build quality. From the paint finish, which hardly has any orange peel, to the minimal and evenly spaced panel gaps, you can tell that the workmanship was held to a very high standard. What initially draws you to a car may be the exterior, but what makes you fall in love with it is definitely the interior. Any attraction felt on the outside is pure infatuation. Now I'm going to echo what I said about the exterior, because all Geely interiors are well crafted. There's attention to detail, all variants feel premium, and build quality is top notch. Again, this is a work of art. Everything here is a design piece. From the switches, gear selector, air vents, and all interior accents, nothing looks generic. But aside from being aesthetically pleasing, everything is also nice to the touch. All touch points are soft and the seats are adequately comfortable and all the switchgear feels sturdy. Furthermore, all moving parts are nicely dampened. Everything just moves so gracefully, which again is a testament to good build quality. Most of us spend a lot of time in our cars every day. Hence, we should never undermine the importance of a good interior. Spending hours in traffic is never fun. But a car's interior space does wonders to make that less of a grueling experience. And given how bad traffic is here, air conditioning and a good stereo doesn't exactly cut it. The folks at Geely understand that it's equally important to give in to your wants as well as your needs. So the interior's appeal to emotion is never disregarded. You'll find that regardless of which Geely you step into, you can expect to be pampered unlike any other car within the same price point. To sum it up, what you get is good design, premium materials, tech and features, and then some. And we can go on all day talking about how nice the exterior or interior is, but there's really no better way to see how prosperous a car manufacturer's future will be than to see how well their cars actually drive. So the name Geely in Chinese actually means auspicious or conducive to success. And I can tell you right now that that goes beyond the name, because every single Geely is a pleasure to drive. I've driven them all and they all provide a stellar driving experience. But don't just take my word for it, because apparently I'm not the only person who feels that way.
You know, I definitely enjoyed it. When you're on the highway, I switched to eco for a while. Everything was just relaxing. And you know, I agreed with when Sir West says that, you know, it isolates you from the outside world. So it's like you're just doing your own thing with this car. And you feel safe knowing that all these materials are high quality, especially for the price point that it's at. 1.1 million?
Yeah, for the sport.
Oh my goodness. Not bad. For me, it's a bang for your buck.
Overall, still for a big MPV like that, it handled really well. There were some sort of understeer at times, but what do you expect? It's a huge, tall car. But again, for a huge, tall car such as that, it was really good. Power was smooth. The dual clutch transmission just knows which gear to pick at any time. I floor the throttle if I need to overtake, especially in those really narrow roads and I have to do it fast. It just downshifts, like it's very snappy.
Yeah.
Of course, again, it's still not as fast as like what you get with Porsche's PDK system, but for 1.4 million something, it's a great car.
When it comes to good driving dynamics, there's a fine line between too much or too little driver involvement. Because too much involvement leads to fatigue and exerting more effort. However, too little involvement also leads to a disconnected and dull drive. And I think Geely has managed to strike the balance there very well. They've managed to find the sweet spot, especially considering the type of vehicles they sell. But basically, good driving dynamics boils down to how well a car responds to all the driver's inputs. It has to be prompt and proportional. And what I mean by that is it has to respond immediately, and the response has to align with the driver's expectations. When you get behind the wheel of any Geely, that's exactly what it delivers. When it comes to steering, the steering is light, yet it's responsive. As far as throttle inputs are concerned, it's immediate yet refined. The brakes are also progressive. It doesn't feel like an on and off switch. And then we get to the transmission, and granted, it doesn't redline and it auto upshifts, but nonetheless, this is one of the smoothest shifting DCTs I've ever driven. But a well-rounded vehicle shouldn't only cater to the driver. In fact, it has to cater to all the occupants on board. And that's exactly what every Geely does. The ride is just so comfortable. The suspension does a really good job in isolating you from the road imperfections, yet it's just firm enough not to feel floaty, especially around the bends. The NVH is also spectacular, but it's even better with the hybrid models. There's just a sense of refinement there that's unparalleled at this price point. This particular model has a start-stop function, and I must say it's the least intrusive one that I've ever experienced. I can hardly tell it's working. The only way to tell is really if you look at the tachometer and see the engine switch off, but you don't feel a single thing. And again, that speaks towards refinement and build quality. So Geely really has ticked all the boxes to make them the next big thing. And I have no doubt that they'll continue breaking sales records as they cater to more and more countries around the globe. But even if that happens, or when that happens, there will still be critics or skeptics who'll say that if it's made in China, it can't be any good. These are your so-called experts on Facebook who still feel that the epitome of good car design is something like the Toyota Vios. And I don't mean to sound harsh, but it's just so unfair to base a car's merits based on its place of origin. In fact, here's a conversation I was having with some fellow gearheads on the same topic.
Now, one thing I got a word out of is like, a lot of people have been complaining, number one, because Geely is a Chinese brand. So what's your views on that? Because personally, I don't mind it being a Chinese brand, removing politics and all that. I'm just seeing it for the car as it is. And they're great cars. They're excellently priced. They have great warranty. So far, the performance of these cars, all three are pretty good as well.
You know, I'm pretty sure that if you were to blindfold someone, you know, the biggest critic of Chinese cars, blindfold them, put them inside, take them for a ride, I'm sure they won't be able to tell that it's a Chinese car. In fact, I bet they'll be all praises, right? Because it rides well, the build quality is good. Now, there's a lot of questions about reliability, but then when you look at perceived quality, it's very promising. You know, you don't hear any squeaks or rattles. You know, everything seems really well made. So I really don't see any issues with it being from China.
Speaking
or
of
being made in
the
China.
squeaks and rattles, actually, there's a lot of non-Chinese brands
Yes,
that squeak and rattle. In particular, some Japanese brands,
that's true.
as well as some China-made European brands. I know a couple.
And you know, aside, since we're on the topic, aside from the squeaks and rattles, look for panel gaps, stuff like that. You'll see that on some Japanese cars.
They're
When you
not
look at
good.
These, Geelys,
It's
they're really good. I mean,
For me, I think it's a new breed of car that, you know, all of us are just gonna adjust to. And it's, at the end of the day, it's just in the long run, if you're just gonna have it, if it makes you happy, you know, I think that's what matters most. As long as the car in question makes you happy and, you know, you feel satisfied driving it. And, you know, that slogan they put on the side of the Coolray that I'm driving, you make driving fun again. It really made driving fun again. I gotta admit. Coolray.
And this is coming from someone who drives a GT3.
so that says a lot.
That's my
That says a lot.
So what we have here is a brand that makes refined vehicles that are also fun to drive. They also offer the latest tech and features without breaking the bank. Most importantly, none of their vehicles feel low rent, as every model is well equipped and built to the highest quality standards. If this won't make any car manufacturer the next big thing, I really don't know what will. Thanks for watching.